Okay, so we're all seeing people dive headfirst into AI, but how do we go from just using the tools to, actually getting really good with them? It's all about sharpening our instincts and building a skill set that goes way beyond just writing a basic prompt.
Have you ever gotten something back from an AI and just felt like something was missing? I mean, yeah, it's technically correct, but it just feels kind of hollow, a little artificial. Well, you're not alone. And that feeling, that's actually the starting point for developing a much, much deeper skill. And that skill is what we're going to call taste. Now, this isn't some exclusive, artsy concept. In the world of AI, taste is basically your secret weapon. It's that gut feeling, that little voice inside that tells you when something really works, when it falls totally flat, or when it's almost there but could be so much better. See, without that sense of taste, it's incredibly easy to fall into what I call the AI activity trap. Your whole team is busy, everyone's generating stuff with AI, there's a ton of activity. But then, 6 months go by, and you look up and ask yourself, are we actually creating more value, or are we just spinning our wheels?
And this is so crucial. The problem is almost never the tool. It's not about finding a newer, better AI model. The real bottleneck and, honestly, the real opportunity is in us. It's developing the human judgment, the discernment that's needed to guide these incredibly powerful tools.
So how do we actually do that? How do we build this gut check? How do we take that kind of vague feeling and turn it into a real practical skill you can train? Well, this next part is all about taking that internal instinct and making it something you can consciously build up and rely on.
It really starts with this simple idea. That feeling is your most important signal. When you look at what an AI gives you, and your brain just goes, that's not quite it, that's your taste talking to you. The very first step is to just stop ignoring that voice and actually start listening to what it's trying to tell you.
So, how can we make this a system? Here's a great little method, the delight log. It's simple. As you're working with AI, just pay attention to those moments when a result is genuinely great, when it makes you smile, or even just sigh with relief. Don't just accept it and move on. Stop. Write down exactly why it worked so well. Over time, you'll start to see patterns in what really delights you. And that, right there, is taste training in action.
Okay, so once you start tuning in to that internal sense, the next step is to translate it into how you actually talk to the AI. This is the big shift, right? This is where you go from being a passive user who just kind of takes what they're given to being an active director of the AI's work. A huge part of this is avoiding the all-or-nothing trap. We've all been there. You either trust the model way too much and just accept mediocre work, or you find one tiny mistake and throw the whole thing out. The nuanced approach is totally different. You act like the central processing unit. You interpret the results, you analyze them, and you give specific, targeted feedback to course-correct the AI.
This really gets to the core of your new role. Your value isn't just about getting an answer from an AI. It's about your ability to demand useful work. And notice, I said useful, not perfect. These tools are going to make mistakes. But demanding useful work that actually moves you closer to your goal, that takes a strong opinion and the confidence to push back.
So what does that look like in the real world? It means you use a whole palette of responses. Instead of a generic try again, you get super specific. You say things like, your phrasing here is way too overdramatic. Or, this is correct, but you're missing the internal company context, which is. You can even say, hey, 2 of these numbers are just made up. Go find the real sources. And look at that last one. It's not just about correcting the AI. It's about self-correction, recognizing what you need to provide for it to do better work.
And all of this leads us to the ultimate goal, which is building what we'll call AI-fungible skills. Now, what does that mean? It means skills that are durable, that are transferable. They're going to be valuable no matter what crazy new AI model gets released next week or next year.
Think about it like this. It's the difference between a hack and a true skill. A hack is some magical prompt that works great for one specific model. For now, it's brittle, it's temporary. An AI-fungible skill, on the other hand, is a way of thinking, a problem-solving framework that works across all AI systems. That's durable. That's real value. And here are some of the most critical ones. First, problem decomposition. Just knowing how to take a big, messy challenge and break it down into smaller pieces an AI can actually help you solve. Then there's hallucination recognition. That's your gut check again, right? It's that instinct, honed by your own expertise, that tells you when an AI is sounding super confident but is totally making stuff up. And finally, iterative strategy. This is the judgment to know when to keep pushing a conversation forward versus when to just wipe the slate clean and start over with a completely new approach.
These are the real meta skills you want to be building. So, let's wrap this up. As AI starts to handle more and more of the routine intellectual work, your taste, your judgment, your discernment, your gut feeling, that becomes your ultimate secret weapon. The tools are getting more and more powerful, for sure, but you are still the central processing unit. The only question is, how are you going to choose to direct all that power?